You're listening to Moviesucktastic.
Why are you doing this?
It's just the way we are.
It all sounds like some bad movie.
Yes, I did.
Yes. Now, one of the reasons we invited our special guest Don Smith on is that Don is, on top of being an expert on New Jersey murders that took place a long time ago, he is also a comic book expert. He is a comic book reviewer and commentator, correct, Don?
Yes, I do. My earliest childhood memory is throwing a Batman Mego action figure up in the air, and that just pretty much set me for life.
Very cool.
Being into comic books and stuff like that. So
I figured, what better episode to bring Don in, because we've been talking about getting some guests on here and getting Don on as a guest. It was kismet, because the same week I talked about it, it's like, oh, Supergirl, perfect. Don will have something to say about this. Now, what I would like. Oh no, sorry. What?
And I do. I honestly do.
What I would like to ask Don, because I told Joey, I'm not doing any research on this part. This is going to be Don's forte. I would like, before anything else, Don, take us through a comparison of Supergirl the movie and her comic book and the origins.
Well, essentially, basically, it's the classic case of, well, let's get girls in.
I can't.
Let me ask you this: is the film accurate in that she's on some planet other than Krypton?
Not planet, Argos, the city of Argos.
Yeah,
Whatever.
she was in Argos City. Essentially,
and there's something
Argo-
called the Omega Hedron. Is that all accurate?
No, that's stuff that they just threw in there.
Okay.
Is honestly.
And why are the walls of that place made out of tissue paper?
You're getting ahead of it. You're getting ahead of it. Let Don talk about
it. I'm sorry. I didn't know we weren't moving.
And you
right
beat me
into
on that. Damn it.
Well, number one, Peter O'Toole must have had some alimony to pay. That's the only thing I can say in regards to that. Number two, honestly, basically, whatever you imagine, like as your typical future city, like you would see in Buck Rogers or in Flash Gordon or something, that's essentially what Argos City was supposed to be when it first was introduced in Superman all those years ago. And it's like kind of like Kandor, and it's like it's supposed to be all of that type of stuff. And why they went into the weird new age hippie type of direction with their stuff, I don't know. And also at the same time, I think they made Argo City subterranean. I didn't quite get that. Like she flies up out of the water,
and then back in.
Now the one thing I caught, and they talk in the beginning about Argos is in inner space in the film. Now where's Argo City in the comic books? Argo
City's blown up.
It doesn't even exist.
But where does it exist? I mean, it's like it
was on Krypton.
Right.
It was kind of like if. So
Kandor, I was right.
Yeah, it's kind of like if Kandor was New York, Argo City was Philadelphia.
But it survived the explosion, didn't it?
No. She survived the explosion by being like put in a rocket and sent to Earth as a teenager. So it was kind of like it was kind of one of these things where it's sort of like everybody thinks, oh, Superman is the last son of Krypton sort of thing. Actually, there's one other survivor, his cousin Supergirl.
Wait, what was the Krypton city though in the glass jar then?
Kandor.
That's Kandor. Okay, that's where my confusion was, sir. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Okay.
and that was again introduced like it's pretty funny for a guy that's like Superman was the last whatever the heck he was of Krypton. A lot of crap has survived that explosion.
Yeah.
So
There's no
So-
closure for Superman.
yeah, exactly. Well, that's it. Well, we got Zod. Crap. So,
It's like every time I'm having a nice day, someone comes up to me with a piece of my destroyed home planet and tries to mess with me. Come on.
exactly. That's exactly what it was.
Now,
So-
That'd be like if I'm like 50 and I'm walking around trying to enjoy my life, and every now and then some stranger comes up with a piece of wood from the house I was born in and starts slapping me around.
pretty
Now-
much, yeah.
Yeah.
speaking of Peter O'Toole, I found him
Love Peter.
probably to be the most enjoyable part of this movie.
No, I gotta say, the two funniest things for me is watching Peter O'Toole and watching Peter Cook. When you watch Peter O'Toole, he's acting. He's acting just as much as he acted in Beckett.
Oh yeah.
He's like,
Well,
it's like-
and
like-
and here's the thing too.
well,
I think Peter O'Toole.
Well,
I
they're
think
like,
he.
yeah, go ahead.
I think he knows the dialogue is real cheesy, and I think he knows that a bottle of Jack Daniels can really help when he's
Yes.
delivering these lines.
But the-
because in the beginning of the film, where he's talking about getting out of where they are, and he says, "I will ride in that. Bang, zoom, zim. I'm out of here." It's like, wow.
Well, that's
okay.
and that's
a little
actually-
confidence from a little Jack, don't you think?
Well, no, that's actually a direct reference to his acting portrayal in The Ruling Class, where he played the schizophrenic who thought he was Jesus Christ.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he does the same kind of work there. I'm telling you, Peter O'Toole's such an actor that even in a crappy film like Supergirl, he's like, "No, I will not go in there. I will go in that."
Yes.
Well, when I was
I
reading
will
Don's
die
article,
trying.
there was a section in there that said Helen Slater would go into Peter O'Toole's trailer, and the first thing I'm thinking of is, okay, what's he trying to do? Jungle, yeah, exactly. And failing, because she was, 18, 19? He was
About that, yeah.
50. But he was giving her life lessons in acting, saying, when you act, pretend you're holding daffodils. And she said that helped her throughout her entire career. And I just thought that was interesting for him to say something like that, because a lot of actors don't know what to do with their hands in scenes, and to think in that mindset, I mean, that's just really sage advice.
And
yeah,
I'm sorry, go ahead, Don.
No, well, I was going to say, and the whole idea of holding a daffodil, it's not like where you're holding a flashlight or where you're gripping it. With the
Right.
daffodil, I mean, like you're like literally holding it to be incredibly gentle with it because you don't want to
Sure.
crush it. And
I crush daffodils.
yeah,
We know.
it's because you haven't been hugged enough, Scott.
That
That's
is,
why.
that's true. I've been talking to Joey about that, and I'm still being rebuffed.
Well, you know, Joey's straight. But anyway.
Anyway.
Don't shatter my dreams.
Okay, no, I'm just waiting for you to get an angry letter from Glad. So we will no longer have guests because they've been deemed homophobic.
Nothing phobic here, sir.
No, I mean on my end.
No, stop. What you were saying?
You were saying?
And I was saying that basically it's kind of like holding a flower very gently like that. It's kind of interesting because it's like you literally have to concentrate on your hands like you're holding a rosebud or something like that.
Yeah, he's a classically trained actor, and he knows how to really act. Now, what I'm saying is, you watch him, and he's like, "I will take it here to the forbidden zone or the phantom zone," and he's like
Phantom
really
zone.
acting. But then you watch Peter Cook, who's been in crap, knows what crap is, and that's his shtick in the first place. You watch him, and every time he talks, his head bobs. Is like, "Well, I don't think that's the right idea." he's like, "I'm practically a cartoon, and I know it." And the travesty of the film is that Peter Cook and Peter O'Toole did not share any screen time together.
Yes,
Oh, what a
that
crime.
really was. And how much were you like seriously when Peter Cook stepped on stage? Admitted you all wanted him to go marriage, dream within a dream, love, true love. So
Unfortunately, that was, I believe, 2 years before Princess
Yeah,
Bride.
and
but
I think it's last role actually.
yeah, but yeah, Squirt.
Now, Don, in the comic book, Supergirl is also Superman's cousin. That is a fact, or is that
Yes.
just
Yes,
okay?
it is. Like Jor-El had a brother named Zor-El, and Kara is the daughter of Zor-El.
And now that's obviously why her name is Kara Zor-El.
Right, exactly.
So
Got
what?
it.
So what? Like, they stole the rocket technology from Superman's father, or
Well,
Or they just had it.
no, yeah, well, like I think he had it as well. I can't remember, and I'm doing a quick research on Wikipedia to see what they say. And
that's cheating.
Yeah, it is. But at the same time, I'm like, what they do is they've changed her. Thing around. Like they've changed her origin story around, where it's like some days she's like the cousin, and other days she's some sort of weird meta thingamabobber that just is a shapeshifter.
Now,
And
in the comic, does she have brown hair when she's Linda Lee?
no, actually, I have no idea where the heck the Linda Lee thing came from.
Because I thought that was the stupidest thing.
Yeah.
They don't even explain why she has blonde hair. I mean, brown hair when she's not Supergirl.
She's a chameleon.
Oh, stop it.
Hey, if Superman can part his hair without touching it, she can change color. I had no problem with that.
Oh,
Yeah, actually, to be honest with you, on some level, that made a lot of sense to me because
Gotcha.
it's like in all sincerity, it's like the classic joke is, wait a minute, you can't see that a guy with glasses is really this dude in blue tights? How dumb are you? And to me, it makes sense. Like you change a person's hair color, they really do look night and day if you don't realize it.
I don't think so. I don't agree with it. I mean, I'm sorry. Women change their hair color every other week. You know it's the same person when you go to work. Hey, how you doing, Barbara?
Well,
Yeah,
that's
so you
because
change your hair color.
That's because they're at work. They're not like flying through the air. He'll say, "Hey, isn't that Barbara with different colored hair?"
Yeah, exactly.
Well, here's a
Boy,
que-
that guy looks like Clark Kent. Like, it's like you see Superman flying and they're making their hands like with binoculars and they're putting
Right.
it over Superman's face. Holy crap, that looks like Clark Kent. So,
Well, I know Don will appreciate this. Supergirl did so poorly that maybe it was influential to the fact that 2 years later, DC Comics killed her in Crisis.
Oh, really? I thought
The
I
timeline
read
is perfect.
somewhere back in the day that Supergirl was the #1 grossing film in Japan, but I can't find any numbers or facts
well,
anywhere to support it.
That was one of the things they blamed the lackluster theatrical performance of Supergirl on, was because they cut his 2 hour 5 minute cut, which is what we watched through Netflix, or at least I watched through Netflix. I don't know
Right.
if you got your copy.
Same place.
I do have on order the limited edition with a 2.5 hour cut. I'm dying to see that.
God.
But at the same time, it was in the theaters, so they cut it to an hour and a half for the theater.
Hour and 44 minutes.
At the same time, a Japanese Laserdisc bootleg surfaced of the 2 hour and 5 minute version. So people, instead of going to see it in the theater, were getting copies of the Laserdisc bootlegs. They wanted to see the longer version.
And
So
why that worked?
Why?
Because Japan is also NTSC like America. There's no region coding.
Right. So all your comic book fans that might have gone to see the movie were like, well, screw it. I'd rather see the 2 hour version, and they have the connections.
right.
There you go.
I had heard about that. I mean, like the one that I forget which one, because like I got it as a DVD I forgot where I got it from. I think I ordered it off of like Amazon.com or something like that, and it was like it was the regular version of it. It was the one where the director Jean Zwark.
Zwark.
Yeah, Zwark. Yeah, he did
I
the
think it's
commentary
Jeannot.
for it. Yeah, Jeannot
Jeannot.
Zwark. Yeah, he did the commentary for it, and that's the one I got.
Now, the limited edition...
That's the one I got too. That's the one.
Okay.
That's the 2 hour and 5 minute version. Yeah.
Fine. The limited
Okay.
edition, the 2 hour and 20 minute or 25 minute cut, is only limited to 50,000 copies.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully.
I'm dying. I need to see the longer version. I'm so
Please.
because most of what they cut out of it was if you watch the version that we watched, there's these long scenes of look, she's flying over horses, and look, she's flying over this. Now take it. There's been 3 Superman films before this. The director and the producer are still like, oh, we just need more pictures of her flying.
Well, and you know what's funny too? They wanted Supergirl and the Superman franchise to be separate, whereas they went through great lengths to do the opening titles differently,
Well, the
the
original,
music to be different, and the end credits completely different as well.
but they didn't want it to be different because they were trying to get Reeves backed out at like the last minute.
Well, he was supposed to have a cameo of some sort,
But still, I mean, they still wanted.
and they could only get Jimmy Olsen.
That poor guy.
Yeah, he's
know?
kind of like, I'm still a couple of years away from Back to the Future. Why not?
And
Right.
what's Jimmy Olsen doing? Going to going over. Where was it? Ipanema.
Whatever
Midvale.
it was.
Yeah, it was like Midvale, Illinois, or something.
It was near. Illinois, right? Yeah,
Yes.
because it was near
Yeah,
that one town with the weird name. But
They couldn't get Christopher Reeve.
what's Jimmy Olsen doing flying to Midvale to make out with a high school girl?
Yeah, right?
That's
Well, that was his girlfriend.
yeah. She's in high school.
But he's like 27.
yeah, she's in high school. That's not a college. That was like a prep school.
No, they
high
refer to them as teenagers quite often.
Yeah. So what's he do? He's living in the big city as a photographer.
Well, I think that they were implying that Jimmy Olsen is essentially like an 18, 19-year-old college student.
No way in hell.
Or,
I ain't buying that.
He's got a receding hairline.
I'll buy the changing color thing, throwing people, but I ain't buying Jimmy Olsen's like 20.
Jimmy Olsen's 34. Scouting 14-year-olds.
Exactly.
well, it's the bow tie. It's like
Now,
it's on Doctor Who now. Bow ties are cool.
We can't continue this review without mentioning Faye Dunaway. And
There to be no wire hangers.
now, I'm sure everyone has noticed throughout the film, they basically use Mommy Dearest type scenes where they have, and old school tricks too, where they have the light over her eyes to signify evil and her being a villain.
And the soft lighting whenever she's, yeah.
Well, the thing is, you would swear that they were just filming scenes for Mommy Dearest because they used it like crazy through that movie.
You got Faye Dunaway. What else do you do with her?
Well, and the thing is, too, I think...
What the heck else has she done since then?
Not much. One of the reasons why I found this film to be quite
down.
ridiculous is because both Faye Dunaway and her partner in crime, Brenda Vaccaro, reminds me too much of my two of my crazy aunts growing up. They all the way down to their eccentric fashion to where they lived. My aunts all have like crazy crap in their house, antiques.
Okay.
Just like weird stuff. And I'm watching this film, and not only do they act like my crazy aunts, but they have crap like my crazy aunts.
Did your crazy aunts live in an abandoned amusement park?
No, but what I'm saying is they collected a lot of crazy antique crap. You don't know where I'm going with that.
I got you.
You got me.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I just found it weird watching this film and them because it just reminded me of my crazy family.
Hey Don, how much longer do we have here? Are we losing you soon?
I can stick around for another 5-10 minutes.
Well. I'll tell you what. You take the reins. What else do you want to comment on the film?
Well, two things. First of all, he brought up Brenda Vaccaro, who she was hysterical.
Smoker's voice.
She was hysterical in one of my favorite all-time movies, Zorro the Gay Blade.
Oh,
yeah.
Classic.
Oh, yeah. Love that movie.
Thank God for small favors.
Yeah, exactly. You know that thing that we do once.
That thing we do once every 12 years, every 12 months.
Yeah, we
have 3 months to go.
Thunk.
The ships in the fields, the Baba Buzz.
Yes,
that movie's awesome.
What about the whole vegetable thing?
Two fruits, one avocado, the banana. I know you.
The one-eyed guy comes walking up to him and just starts going. Well, Zorro, he was different. What do you mean? He was a poof. Smack.
He was a poof.
And he just gets punched in the face by the Al Qaeda, and I have to say this. He goes, "Your father has died. A turtle has spooked his horse. You will be happy to know that turtle has been executed." And I'm actually picturing in my head like a firing squad and this poor little turtle with like a little head, with a little blindfold and a little cigarette.
It's sad. 75% of that film is based on funny accents, and it works.
It really does.
It really does work.
It really does.
But again, I didn't mean to interrupt with my Zorro
Sure.
game. I love that movie.
Exactly.
And your other point?
Well, and kind of goes into that was when they did one of my actually favorite points to that movie was that one scene where they had the poster of Superman, and then they did that dun 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 dun, dun like very like it was almost like they had
Right.
orchestra, and then they had this one guy being the soloist playing the notes of it,
And they
they're
couldn't
like,
even get a picture of Christopher Reeve for that.
and
Just want to point that out.
yeah, and they were just like, wow. And I thought to myself, number one, I find that incredibly poignant. I really do. I mean, like, it's kind of like if I would ever direct or make my own retrospective on the coolness of Christopher Reeve, I
Right.
think I would end the movie on just that little scene because, again, post Christopher Reeve of what he dedicated the remaining years of his life to, and then just seeing that little moment of dun dun dun, I thought that was incredibly touching at that moment. But from a movie standpoint, when it came out in '84, I thought that was incredibly idiotic because it basically said to everybody, "Hey, please remember how incredibly cool this other guy was with the cape, who you'd rather be seeing, but you're the idiots that paid the $5 for the movie tickets so that you could see this. Remember, this is as cool as that." It was
And
what
just-
they were doing.
Well, Superman 3 was coming out not long after that
Before
as
it.
well.
It was before it.
Did it come out before?
I'm pretty
I
sure.
Thought, I thought there was scheduling conflicts. This is my theory of why Christopher Reeve couldn't be in the film.
No, what happened was, just to interject real quickly, from what I read, and if I'm not mistaken, Superman 3
It was being filmed when they were doing
was
Supergirl.
was already out.
Are you sure?
I'm checking now because what I read was because of its lackluster performance, 83 Superman 3 came out. So it came out
Wow.
before. So because it did poorly, they started cutting the budget to Supergirl. That's why there were so many script rewrites because they wanted to show Krypton exploding again.
Well, you know what? Okay. I thought I read somewhere that both films were being made around the same time.
Well,
and
production,
it was scheduled
pre-production
right,
wise, yeah, but Superman
Yeah.
3 got ahead of the game.
right. And my theory why Christopher Reeve didn't make the cameo in the film is because both films were produced by Warner Brothers. And I have a feeling that because Warner Brothers is making both movies, they knew how bad Supergirl was, and they decided not to put their franchise character, Superman, in the film even as a cameo because they felt that it could possibly tarnish Superman. So that's my theory of why. Because they say, oh, scheduling conflicts, it just didn't work out, it didn't pan out. I think that's Warner Brothers stepping in and saying, no, we're not going to put him in this crappy film.
What do you think, Don?
I don't know. I mean, I think honestly, I think it was at this time where it was in this point in his career where he was trying to do anything he possibly could that was non-Superman related. And I think basically at that point in time, people just said, shut up, you're Superman. Keep making Superman movies until you're gray. And I think that basically he was at this time where it's, you know, it's like every one of these actors that have played somebody iconic, whether it be Adam West, William Shatner, Bob Denver, they go through a love-hate relationship as Gilligan. Like, I'm talking about iconic characters.
No,
Bob
that's Bob Denver's the musician. You're thinking of
No, that's John Denver. That's the
John
musician.
Denver. Oh, I'm thinking of the wrong guy.
Yeah.
I was just letting you drown.
I'll shut up. Continue, Don.
Oh, no, that's okay. But every one of these guys have played iconic people that they could never get away from. So, like, if Bob Denver wanted to play a lawyer, they'd say, screw you, you're Gilligan. And all he could ever do was make appearances as Gilligan elsewhere. And it's the same thing here. I think Christopher Reeve was at a point where he's like, really? Look, I'm going to play him one more time. I really want to go do something else that doesn't involve
Right.
me being Superman. And I think that that's honestly what happened.
Superman 4 freed him from that that issue.
Yeah, and pretty much they had to twist his they had to twist his arm to get him to do that because I think he basically said, "Look, here's what if you want me to play
Because he
Superman
read the
again."
script.
Yeah. Well, I think also at the same time, I think he was the one that really pushed for the anti-nuclear missile thing. I think he was the one behind that. Like, basically, they say, if you want a fourth Superman movie, here are my conditions. Number one, let me go make this other movie, whatever the heck it was. I forget. Number two, make this an anti-war movie. And that's basically what happened. And it was one of the reasons why Warner Brothers just said, yeah, we're having nothing to do with it. Let's give them to Golan Globus or Golan Globus or whatever their names were.
But the
Golden
dialogue
Globus.
but the dialogue in Superman 4 is awesome. Excellent dialogue.
It's gonna be very appropriate for Bad Movie Day,
Yes.
but it's only got one vote.
I don't blame them. I've seen that enough.
No vote for no love for Superman 4.
Did you have a second point? You said you had 2 points, Don.
That was the second point.
Was that the
Yes.
second point?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it was kind of like at the same time. I mean, like, I'll say it this way again. It was like I said to you during the commercial. It was whenever I hear that Kid Rock song about how he's that summer of whatever it was, summer of '89 or something like that, and he was talking about how like he's smoking funny things and drinking funny things or what have you. He basically uses a riff from Werewolves of London. And I adore that song, but the thing is that every time I hear that song, I don't think, "Hey, this is cool. It's a Kid Rock song." I always think to myself, "I'd rather be hearing Warren Zevon." And it's the same principle here. It's kind of like everybody's like, "Hey, look how cool! We've got Superman in there," and I just find myself thinking, I'd much rather be watching Superman 1 or 2 than have to sit through Supergirl again.
And also, how do you make a Supergirl film, and how do you make it without Superman? But you have to. I mean, she's wearing the same costume.
Right.
She acknowledges him throughout the entire
But,
movie.
but I'm
too.
saying, like, I'm sure they would have loved to make a film separate of it, even though it's part of the franchise, without having to refer back to Superman. They even had to throw that little radio thing. Superman has left the planet.
Which actually kind of fits in with Superman Returns, which I thought was kind of funny.
Now,
So-
Oh, no, don't even.
two things,
Bring
Scott.
that
Two
one up.
things before we wrap up and let Don go.
Well,
One-
we're going to keep going because I have a lot to say. But we'll wrap up for
okay.
Don, and then we'll come back and finish up.
Okay. So, do we want to wrap up with Don then?
Yeah, let's
Actually, can I say one other thing just real quick?
Yes, please,
Sure.
sir. And then
Sure.
I have one question for you before you go.
Sure. In regards to one of the funniest things that I thought was when the witch or Faye Dunaway cast that spell on Hart Bachner,
Mm-hmm.
and basically says,
Hans,
Yeah.
Bobby,
Mm-hmm.
I'm your white knight.
she goes, like, "I cast this spell on you so that the first woman that you see will be the woman that you fall in love with." And then, like an idiot, he goes walking through town. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, how are there no women in this town for him to accidentally bump into?
I thought he should have fell in love with the crane.
I
such
thought it would
nice
have been
teeth.
great. I thought it would have been great if he fell in love with like that overweight lady that has the mustache that served them at the A&W root beer place. No, at Popeyes.
That's a different movie altogether.
Oh, and Joey, we're talking about A&W root beer after the break.
Oh, we are? Okay.
Here's my question for you, Don. And after my question, tell us where we can get your book.
Sure.
But here's my question for you. As the comic book expert here, what comic book was being read by, what's her name?
The roommate.
The
Lane.
roommate. What's her name?
Something
Lane.
yeah,
Yeah,
Lane.
Lucy Lane.
Lucy Lane. What comic book was Lucy Lane reading?
And to show you the idiocy on DC Comics' part,
Right.
the flippin' Hulk.
I had to. Wait, is that a Sentinel on that? What the hell is that?
I couldn't believe that. I really could not believe that. I mean, heck, at least in Superman Returns, when what's his face is wearing pajamas, he's at least wearing Aquaman pajamas. I mean, I couldn't believe that. I'm saying this from like the standpoint of like, look, this is our money maker. We want to do things. Everything points back to DC Comics and A&W root beer in this movie. That's what we're dedicated to. Is DC Comics and A&W.
Didn't they also end up at a Popeyes?
Yes.
And when they said Popeyes, I was saying to myself, are they talking about the chicken franchise Popeyes, or is it just some fictional bar or not bar, but eatery? But no, God, I gotta beep that now. It's a Popeyes.
And as far as I can tell, as far as I remember, it's the only Popeyes I've ever seen in a film as a product placement.
Yeah, exactly. And
I knew you'd catch the comic book thing.
yeah, because I was sitting there and when I saw that, I was just like, that's really, really one of the dumbest things in the world. I mean, it really is, honestly, and I will get slightly political. It's almost like if President Obama, like if Senator Obama was saying, don't vote for the old guy, vote for the young guy. And then John McCain turns around and says, that's right, everybody, vote for the old guy, not the young guy. You're like, why in the world are you stealing the catchphrases of your opponent?
Yeah, right.
It's
I mean,
real.
And you got to think on that set. I mean, at least one person says, hey boss, you think you might want to use a DC comic in there?
Yeah, I mean, heck, like it's not like that there isn't like 1,000 other second string characters. I can understand. They say, okay, no Batman because Batman's a bigger name character, but it's like they could have pulled out a Deadman, a Phantom Stranger, a Blue Beetle, if he was owned by them at the time, like any one of those like lesser known, Adam Strange, like any one of those lesser known comic book characters.
How about oh my God, a Supergirl comic? How cool would that have been?
That would have been really good.
Now,
that would have been really funny.
The only thing that bothers me more than the concept that no one involved in the production noticed they were using a Marvel comic is the possibility that they did and someone said, comic fans aren't going to notice that.
Yeah.
Jeez. I to this day, I know comic book fans who still know what comic book was ripped in half during the Elvira movie.
Oh God.
I haven't seen that Elvira movie in a long, long time, and
Do you don't remember that?
No, I don't. I really don't.
It was the first McFarlane Spider-Man.
Was it really? Oh,
yeah.
God.
The guy grabs it from him and says, "Don't read that." Every comic fan in the world's like, "No, it's worth money."
Oh man, that's awesome.
Don, thank you so much for being a guest.
Yes,
I gotta say, I have enjoyed myself. I really, really do. I really have enjoyed myself. You guys have just been so wonderful, and thanks for letting me come on and share.
We got to have you back again soon.
Yes, I would be honored, and I would love to.
And do me a quick favor.
Sure.
Vote for Bad Movie Day, one of those flicks.
Okay, now Bad Movie Day is on the Moviesucktastic site, right?
Right.
Correct.
Go to Facebook and then go to our Moviesucktastic page on Facebook.
And then click the questions link.
Okay, Moviesucktastic. I am doing this right now.
Garbage Pail Kids.
Garbage Pail Kids.
Garbage Pail Kids. Okay, where is let me see. Chris Evans. No. Okay, how far? Okay,
on the left side. On the left side, there's a
questions.
Button. There you go.
All right, more questions. What film would you like to see on Bad Movie Day? And we will click on that.
Yes.
And Drama the Room, Horror the Chud, Van Helsing. Wow.
Which is winning right now, which we don't want to show.
Because it's 2 hours long.
It's over 2 hours. We want to show
long.
2 movies on Bad Movie Day.
Where is Bad Movie Day going to be?
It's at my house.
Nice. Can I come?
Absolutely.
You were invited.
You were invited.
I sent you an invite on Facebook.
Did you?
Yes.
Yeah.
You haven't responded.
Oh, whoops. Okay.
It's quite all right. You're more than welcome to come. Bring guests. We're gonna have tons of food. We're gonna have, if it doesn't rain. They're saying rain, but hopefully, if it does rain, we'll just have it indoors.
When is Bad Movie Day?
Saturday.
It's this Saturday, October 1st.
Saturday. Oh my gosh. Oh crap! I did not realize that. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, I don't know. And if I
mean we're not at the forefront of your mind at any given day.
No, I'm sorry. I'm barely at the forefront of my mind. But if it'll make you feel better, I voted for Garbage Pail Kids.
It makes me feel much better.
Thank you. I think we're only 4 votes away from overtaking Van Helsing.
Yes.
But you are more than welcome to show up. If you can't, obviously, we understand. It's not a big deal. But
thanks.
We're going to have it outside, if weather permitting, drive-in theater style.
Oh, very
nice. It's very, very cool. Lots of food, fire pit, marshmallows, s'mores, coffee, hot chocolate, everything. You name it.
Oh, wow. Very nice.
Yes, it's going to be very, very good. Very, very good. So, your book, where can we get it?
Yes.
You can get the book Barnes & Noble, Amazon.com, or basically I've been telling people to shop locally. There's a place in Hawthorne called the Well-Read Bookstore on Lafayette Avenue, and they've got copies of the Goffle Road Murders. But
very, very
we will
cool.
we will throw a link up to the book on this. Can you do it on the site, Joey?
Absolutely.
And I'll do it.
It'll be on the podcast page.
And I'll put it on the blog, and we'll make sure it gets linked on the Facebook page too.
Thank you very much. I really have enjoyed my time, guys. I really have. And
well, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, and it was just great, and it was a good excuse to see the it was a good excuse to see Helen Slater
Supergirl.
again. Yeah, and
Yeah.
by the way, that article, if you guys wouldn't mind putting a link up to that as well, the Superman homepage are a good group of people, and my wife took the picture of Helen Slater too.
Oh, really?
No,
Oh, that's
I'm
very
actually
neat.
working on the blog, and by the time this episode goes live, that'll be up on the blog.
Well, you know what's
Awesome.
interesting? Real quick before you go, that picture. Whenever I do a search, it's one of the first ones that comes up.
Is it really interesting?
Yeah.
And that's not all that comes up when he does a search for Helen Slater.
Oh yeah. Oh
I love
yeah.
Helen Slater. Love her.
Ooh,
Anyway.
I've got stories
All right.
for you.
Ah, very cool.
Non-explicit
All right.
episode. Non-explicit episode.
That's
Yeah,
right.
I'll
I'm
simply
already
say-
beeping myself twice.
All right. I will talk
right.
to you guys later. Take care and thank you again.
Thank you, Don.
Thank you, Don. Catch you
Have
later.
a good one.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. That was very cool.
Yes, it was. Did you hear the bloop bloop when he went off, or
No?
no?
None of that.
Oh, cool.
No, of course
So
not.
why don't we take a break,
Yes, I want to play the Supergirl trailer.
and then you and I will finish on Supergirl because I still have a bunch of notes. I just didn't want to
Oh.
talk over Don.
That's quite all right. Are you there, sir?
Huh? What?
Well, we're back. Wake up.
Hi, sir. How are you?
I'm good.
I was just singing to myself, and then I stopped just in time for you.
Yes. I wish I could have caught a little bit of that.
I'll
to be
sing. I'll
honest.
sing again for you, but you don't want me to do that.
That's all right.
Oh, we have to have a karaoke version of Moviesucktastic someday.
No, we don't.
Yes. I'm primed. But that was fun having Don on.
Absolutely. It
great.
was really good stuff.
I wish
really good stuff.
I wish you could have stayed like John Dimes, where we stayed up for the whole 2 hours.
Oh, yeah.
You know, if we were recording on a weekend, I guarantee Don would have been on for the whole 2 hours.
Probably.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
But so, what do you want to do? Can we just start from the beginning and go through the whole film? Does that work for you? I mean,
If you want, we could breeze right through it.
well, yeah, it'd be just because the stuff we didn't touch on. I mean, I'm glad he brought up some of the things I had in my notes. Like when he started off with Peter O'Toole, and that was my main thing of watching the film is literally that I will go to the Phantom Zone. Want to
Bang, zoom, zam.
Do you want to squirt? Squirt.
Would you like a squirt?
He-
I think after a while you'll find it's quite delicious.
he's such an awesome actor.
He really is.
It's painful watching, but it's like I had a note. It's like I guarantee after every take, there'd be a pause and he'd say, "You know, I was Lawrence of Arabia, right?"
You know how many times I thought that through this movie? Every time he was on screen, I'm like, I was Lawrence of Arabia.
I am not an actor. I'm a movie
I was in
star."
Caligula, goddammit.
Well, Don mentioned you probably needed a rent check or something. From what I read, really, I'm not 100% on his history, but what happened was at one point he was sick and they thought it was from the drinking,
Okay.
but it turned out he had, I think, stomach cancer or something.
Oh, really?
So yeah, so he had a period of time where he was seriously ill, and then so his rebound was doing smaller films.
Oh, I see.
You know,
He wanted to continue to work, but not on a 3, 4, 5 month type. Basically, that type of a movie.
Yeah.
Which is your normal shoot, is anywhere between 3 and 6 months. So this, he might have only had to be around for a few weeks, maybe 3, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. Something
but
like that.
what a week what weeks they were. Zoltar
Oh, yeah.
was Zoltan.
It was Zoltar.
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 And the credits feature, and it didn't say it, but it was like, and featuring Peter O'Toole as Zoltar.
Wait till you hear the trailer that I got. It's awful.
Is that the one off the DVD?
I don't know.
Is that the one with the Harvey Weinstein voice?
Oh, it's like, and introducing Helen Slater.
But instead of like,
yes.
because you usually get that voice in the beginning, you know, like a really deep voice. This one was like it was
In a
Harvey
world.
Weinstein. Hey, and then I was smoking too much, and they asked me to do this trailer.
Right. Yeah. Right. You're exactly. And the good trailers is like, in a world there was no man, and then this is introducing Helen Slater.
He sounded like it just sounded kind of sleazy, even.
Almost.
Yeah, live girls in tight skirts. Come on, we got it right here.
Produced by Alexander Salkind. What? When I heard it, I actually thought it was a joke. I thought it was a fan-made trailer.
Yeah, it's that bad.
It really is that bad.
That's the one on the DVD.
Oh my god.
Uh,
I played it anyway. You're confirming that it's the one on the DVD, and
Yes.
up until about 2 minutes ago, I still thought that it might have been a fan-made trailer, but it was the only one I could find.
That's how bad it is. Yeah, it's really bad. And those opening credits. How much did they cost? Did you see that when you were doing your research?
Oh, yeah. No, I didn't. But it looked like they just had aluminum letters on sticks, and they were just pushing them towards the screen.
$1 million for the opening credits, sir.
Really?
That's what I read. Whether it's true or not, I cannot say. But they said $1 million for the opening credits alone.
Well, it was a $35 million production. That is a lot of money for credits.
Yes. Well, that's the problem with Superman films. After the first one, they kept thinking that they had to have these epic credits. And it's like, no, just get to the movie. We get it now.
Right.
The first film, there was this build-up to it. And it's like, no, we've already seen 3 of them. Just get to the film.
Wow, $1 million for those opening credits.
Weren't they nifty?
No.
And then the first thing, and after the credits, the first thing you see is, okay, there's an upside-down iceberg, and then there's lights floating around it. What the hell is this?
Yeah, exactly.
Welcome to the city Argo, where we have artificial lighting circling the city at all times.
And they have those really complex overhead shots of the inside, and it's just, what are you doing?
I know where Zoltar made his Zoltar.
Zoltar.
I know where Zoltar made his money.
Where's that?
He got the railing contract for our city of Argos. It's like,
yeah,
the city's nothing but railings
and tissue paper.
And you stole my thunder.
I'm sorry.
We have this the city floating in inner space, and all we have covering it is saran wrap.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because in the beginning, you see Helen Slater running through Argos in this 60s setup, and she meets Zoltar, who's an artist. So you know it's not going to end well.
Yeah, he's making a tree.
And he stole the power source of the city, which is the
borrowed.
Borrowed.
I borrowed. I plan to give it back. Do you now?
It was the dodecahedron. What was it?
It was the omegahedron.
The omegahedron, and so of course she grabs it. It's the power source that runs the city, and apparently you can put it in your pocket, and then she loses it through a hole that a butterfly she made with it.
Yeah, it actually looked like a giant moth.
And it's like in the first 5 minutes he has to introduce, I will get it in that. What was it? What was it? The binary chute.
Yeah, or some crap like that. Bang, zoom, zam, I'm out of here. Like, really?
No, I wrote.
Don't forget the Jack Daniels. Really?
I wrote it down. It was the binary chute.
It was the binary chute.
Which apparently can survive inner space travel to the outer world of Earth, but it does not have any child safety features whatsoever.
0.
A young girl can simply climb on it and push the Earth button.
Uh-huh. And I love when she's riding in it, and when she emerges out of the water, all you see is her with her arms doing I'm strong.
She
she's putting her arms in the air.
She does that strongman pose. Da.
Right. Da, 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 da.
And suddenly the binary chute apparently morphs her clothing into a Superman outfit too.
Yeah. Really? I mean, when I saw that, I said, Superman, they go through great lengths to explain that Superman's costume was made by his stepmother, or his mother, if you want to really
at least in the original film, the kid shows up to Earth naked.
And I really wish they did that with Helen Slater. But you can't get everything you want.
Filthy bastard.
But
you and every other comic fan that went to see it. So she shows up to Earth naked, right?
Right. But she ends up on Earth, and there's no one there to make her costume. So, I mean, she arrived in the clothes that if they really wanted to do it, she had clothes.
Oh, speaking of her arrival on Earth, did you see the string?
Oh, with her flying through the... Yes.
When she comes out of the water?
Yes. Now, of course I did. She's on a harness that was attached to her hip.
No.
That's how they were making her fly and float and all that.
Here's where at the same time I was laughing at the production, but then said, wow, they did a great job. I'm laughing at the line, right, when they pull her out of the water.
Right.
And then I'm reading further into it because they wanted to reverse shoot it, so her hair was dry when she came out.
Okay.
Because her hair, if you watch, her hair's dry when she comes out. And you can see the line perfectly. It's so bad. But then I didn't even notice it's not her. It's a cardboard cutout of her.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, that's how.
I didn't notice.
See, and that's where I felt guilty. It was like I'm mocking them for the line. It was like, yeah, but I didn't notice it wasn't really her.
Well, I also will say that I did watch it on my commute to work and home. So I was watching it on a 7-inch screen.
I had it on a big screen. I actually rewound it twice to watch The Wire. I was so busy laughing at The Wire, I didn't notice that she was a 2-dimensional picture.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that whole scene where she flies out. It's like, oh, I'm having trouble landing. Oh, look, I crushed a rock.
Oh, look at that. The rock crushed me.
See, she picks up the rock and crushes it. She should have picked up like a bunny rabbit.
Oh, hello, little
No.
rabbit stew. I think I saw this in Watership Down once.
And then she picks the posy and makes it open with her heat vision and doesn't burst into flames.
Oh, right.
Suddenly
right.
she's mastered her superpowers.
Yeah, she's on Earth, 5 minutes?
And I have a major problem with her outfit, by the way. Did you notice that in that whole opening sequence, that cape flutters up at the slightest breeze, but that skirt does not move.
Yeah, I know. I know. And
There's
also
that one scene where that skirt never comes up above the bottom hem.
now this is just something I've noticed because
Because you were really looking.
I was really looking. Another film that she did, which was called The Legend of Billie Jean.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole scene where they're still in Corpus Christi in Texas, where Christian Slater and herself are at the local lake.
No relation.
No relation. And she is sunbathing on this little pier thing. And she's wearing this real... It's not even a skimpy top.
Steady.
She's... Right.
Steady yourself.
I know. Well, anyway, basically, you can see...
Easy.
underneath everything.
Okay.
You could see almost right through
You
it.
see much more than you could see in Supergirl.
But at best, she's an A cup. And where I'm going with this is they made her a C cup in this film. They gave her a little extra support in that costume.
That the Supergirl costume lifts and separates.
It supports.
It really lifts and separates.
It sure does.
Yes, it does. Not that I
So
was
even in
looking.
1984,
Not that I was looking.
completely obsessed with how they're, because of the whole Wonder Woman thing, I think.
And here's the flaw to the Supergirl movie. They're making a kids film, and the real focus of the movie is dirty men watching a teenage girl in a tight outfit.
Yeah.
This is the draw of the film.
Speaking of which, what'd you think of Matt Frewer's...
I'm getting there, sir. Okay. I'm trying to stay slightly chronological.
Okay.
It's almost there. But if they made that film today, forget it.
Oh, yeah.
They'd be pushing the PG-13 to the max. And so you watch it now and they're trying to do all innocent, and it's like, yeah, but we're all watching her boobies. And we want to see the skirt flip up. Come on. I mean, she doesn't have to be naked underneath, but show the skirt slip up a little bit. Come on.
And they don't do it.
But you're mentioning...
Not once. Even when she does flips in the air.
Yeah.
It's like, it's taped down.
At the very end, there's that one scene where she flies or something, and it looks like it was starched. It was just like they had to tape it down. Sorry, we got to... It might have even been plastic.
Yeah.
But you're mentioning my favorite scene, which was she lands after flying around in the middle of a deserted town.
In the middle of the road.
Right.
So there's a Mack truck that pulls up.
Well,
two men get out.
Slowly pulls up in front of her and stops with her in the headlights. Right?
Right. And one of them is Matt Frewer.
A.K.A. Max Headroom.
Max Headroom, or Eddie the truck driver.
Right. One of my favorite actors ever. And...
I even like the other guy. I don't even know who he was.
Now, I should double check that. I don't think he's anybody though.
No, he's not.
Being that, I mean, here's a situation. You're a truck driver. You're in a truck.
Right.
You're driving down the road. It's an abandoned town, and you come across a young girl in a tight outfit and a skirt. Now, obviously,
his name was Billy, the truck driver.
Right. So obviously, you have to rape her.
Of course.
I mean, that's just it's decorum is what it is. It's the trucker's code.
Oh, by the way, his name was Bill McAllister.
Uh-huh.
And Supergirl was the last thing he's ever done.
And I don't think he's regretting that.
And the only thing he's done before that was a movie called Funny Money.
I recognize that name.
In 1982.
Now, so following trucker decorum, they approach her
Yes.
with the intention of raping her.
That's because that's just
No,
the
no,
way
don't.
we-
I want to.
Oh, come on.
That's my favorite line ever because it could. I mean, and I was hoping to get you to play the clip, but I'm gonna try to find it and put it on the blog. Yeah, she turns to because they're poking her and prodding her. So, oh well, we got. And I'm telling you, nothing creeped me out more than watching Max Headroom chew with his tongue, like sexually.
Oh yeah.
It was like that. Just turned out. That was like that. Oh, that's the creepiest thing I've ever seen in my life. Him like being lecherous. I've never seen him lecherous in my life, and it just disturbed me immensely. But yeah, she slaps him around and says, "Why are you doing this?" And he's like, "It's just the way we are." I had to pause it. I was laughing so hard. First of all, it's the best line in the film,
Oh yeah.
and it's too deep for this movie. It really is. It's too deep of a line. It's like, here's a rapist who's really committed to what he does. It's like he's not like, well, gee, she has a good point. No, it's just how I am. It's just me. It's it's a path I've chosen.
It's just the way we are.
That should really be our opening for the show. Why do you do this? It's just the way we. That pretty much sums us up, Joey.
Okay, I'll do it.
Excuse me. But what makes me even better is I'm not sure exactly what representative A&W Root Beer was involved with the making of the film, but
Right.
I find it interesting that A&W Root Beer has no problem being marketed to the rapist trucker market. I didn't even notice it until she.
This is true.
I didn't even notice it until she throws him through the wall and he lands on the garbage. It's like, wait, he's wearing an A&W Root Beer shirt. Is this really the demographic they're aiming for?
Yes.
Lecherous
Maybe.
truck drivers.
It's just the way we are.
Oh,
You
that,
okay there?
yeah, that's the best line ever. It hurts. And the way he delivers it, too. That reminds me of my favorite line from Van Helsing. The only good line in Van Helsing is when
Oh, right. He goes, "Why do you do this?"
you got the shadow of Igor just prodding the Wolfman with an electric stick for no real reason. And Dracula asks him, so why are you doing that? He's like, and Igor just shrugs and says, "It's what I do."
It's what I do.
Again, too deep for that movie. That line was perfect.
Oh,
I'm sorry,
Lord.
I was dying to talk about that. I couldn't let you step on me there.
You should have let me know ahead of time. I would have not done that.
I didn't want to surprise you because I don't like giving you a
okay.
heads up.
Well, you should have just said, Matt Frewer scene. Don't talk about it.
Now, speaking of like rape, did you notice? Now, I read a little bit about the film, and the one producer, the executive producer, he was the executive producer on all 4 films. Not Swark. What's his name? Sanzel? Oh, pardon me. I'm dying here. Too much homemade wine.
Hold on. Let me see.
I've got it right here because I've got I was reading through. There's a book called Superman versus Hollywood: How Fiendish Producers, Devious Directors, and blah blah blah. The whole film was the whole book is about how Hollywood kept trying to screw up Superman, and
And this is a producer?
it's the executive producer. It's Sanzel. Damn it,
Ilya Salkind is the executive producer.
Salkind. Sorry, Salkind. Thank you.
Well, yeah, that's because Alexander Salkind is he's the dude.
Mm-hmm. Now Salkind. If you look at Salkind's IMDb biography, it mentions
Right.
he was executive producer on Superman 1 and 2. It's like, yeah, they didn't mention he did 3 and 4 as well in Supergirl. They just mentioned they cut his biography off at Zod.
Yeah.
Now Zod would have been a great Supergirl. Kneel before Zod. But Salkind, like in an interview later, was talk about when Supergirl failed, and he blamed part of it on the fact that they cut his film down, which I think was no, I disagree there. And he's one of these producers that won't admit that the film wasn't that good.
Right.
And one of the things he says is that a strong female character in a film just didn't sell. And it's like, and he mentioned Sheena too. It's like, oh, Sheena, a female superhero just doesn't work. It's like, no, you guys are just doing it wrong. Now, Joey,
Yes.
for a film where the guy says, oh, it's a strong female character, can you point out any flaws in? Pardon, I'm speaking to the microphone here. Can you point out any flaws in that theory there, regarding a strong female character in the Supergirl film?
A strong female character.
Well, for example, when she goes to the academy,
Right.
no, even before that, and when she's in Argos,
Correct.
and she's talking to Peter O'Toole, and they're talking about math. She's like, "Oh, I don't know. I just said." She literally almost says, "Math is hard."
Oh, right. And it wasn't until she got to Earth that she was good at it for some reason.
Right. So she's talking to Peter O'Toole's like, "I don't know. I just can't figure out math. I'm blonde." And then she goes to Earth and she goes to the math, the computing class. You must have loved.
And she's not blonde at that point, by the way.
Right. You must have loved the computing class.
Not.
C
Well, I love that Peter Cook was the teacher, where he said, where he's like, and there's very complex algorithms, and if you all shut up, I just might tell it to you.
I was waiting for the next line should have been, and you, Charlie Bucket, sit down. You know, most of the film was shot in London.
2 candy bars, that's it. When at first he thought he said, what, 200 or 20?
Yeah.
He goes, and you'll have a very bad stomachache, but you had this many. No, I'm sorry, sir, only 2. 2? Only 2?
I'm now telling the computer exactly what it can do with a lifetime supply of chocolate bars. But anyway.
I can't tell you the answer. That would be cheating.
So she complains about math being too hard in Argos. She comes to planet Earth. Suddenly she's super smart. She goes to the computing class and she gets the answer right. So then Lucy Lane takes her aside and says, "You know what? If you let people know that you know that, you're not going to be very popular."
Yeah.
So if you're a smart, pretty girl, hide it because people don't like smart people.
And the jocks won't want to feel you up.
Right. So and then you have the 2 ugly girls in the school, and they're the ones that
Right.
are causing trouble that everybody hates.
Yes, and there is a very tame shower scene.
Right. Where everybody's already has towels around themselves.
God, I wish it was directed by Bob Clark.
Easy there.
Hey,
And
he would have done it right.
and then you have 2 leading ladies in the film, and what are they battling over? The gardener.
Oh, yeah.
There's so much strong.
And the dialogue for that is terrible, too, because Faye Dunaway says that she wants to put a spell on him, and then they go back to the house. She puts a spell on him. She thinks it doesn't work. Her partner in crime says, "Oh, he was too young for you." Then the Omega Hedron projects an image on the wall, and her partner in crime says, "Hey, I know that guy." It's like, wait a minute, you were just talking about him.
Well, that was
It's like, what, you don't know who he is? It's like,
that was an attempted humor, sir.
Yes, it was. I know.
But so these 2 strong female leads are both fighting over the hunky gardener.
He will be their prince.
She serves a malt.
And that's Don pointed it out. That's what's his face from Die Hard. That's why I did the Hans Booby thing.
Yeah.
He's the guy with the beard. It's a Rolex.
It should have been a malt liquor. Booby, where's the malt liquor?
He went from Supergirl, which the way the film is made, the way the film ends, it's completely open for sequels. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't explain anything about what happens to Faye Dunaway's character. None of that. You see what happens, but there's no resolution to it.
Mm-hmm.
So and the way Supergirl goes, she ends up going back home
To Argos. Well, there's that
right,
scene too.
but there's it's open ended where you think, well, she'll probably come back.
Well, that's
Because the boyfriend, because he falls in love with Linda Lee, and then he realizes she's really Supergirl,
Yeah.
and he still has feelings for her. So she leaves, and it's just, if it was a huge success, then obviously there would have been sequels. They left it completely open on all fronts in the film to say, okay, when this movie is successful, when we could go and do a sequel, we have all these open ends that
Do you think
will work for us.
Do you think they'll do a sequel?
I don't know, maybe.
But you see my point about the strong female leads.
Of
There's
course.
so much wrong in this film about female. And again, like Supergirl is supposed to be this tough girl, and then it's like, oh, I kissed him. Oh, she's like feeling her lips in the mirror. Yeah, it's a strong
just felt
female
like-
lead. Yeah.
It was part love story in a lot of parts too. with the music and the way they were approaching him and her, and it just, what is it? Is this an action film? Is this a love story? It's like, what is going on? And I know they were just trying to be all things, but
I thought the love interest should have been the Italian guy from Loverboy. I love you.
I love you. Extra anchovies.
And apparently, when you fall in love, you can suddenly quote poetry.
Oh God, it's just so bad.
Wasn't this guy chewing on a toothpick and drinking malt liquor like 10 minutes ago?
Yes, he was. And when she gives him the drink, he's like, "Yeah, where are you gonna put plants in this dump?"
It was very crude, yeah.
Yeah, and then the next thing is, I can't even recite the poetry. It's just that bad.
Yeah.
But you're right. It's and he was working outside with no shirt, all sweaty.
Now, speaking of the Faye Dunaway's character, and they live in that abandoned amusement park.
Right.
Remember the dialogue at the beginning when she goes back? She says, "Oh, we're gonna miss the mortgage payment." Who gave you a mortgage at an abandoned amusement park? They're gonna shut off the water.
It was a lot easier in the 80s, I guess.
They're gonna shut off the water. Where's the water Where's the water in the fun house? Where did you guys get? When did the city bring plumbing into your building? You guys are washing in a bucket. Don't lie.
Yeah, mortgage right at 19% in 1984.
Man, can you see that on like Weikert's open list? Like, we have this lovely haunted house.
Yeah,
Steve.
and what I was saying about my crazy aunt, she would have bought a place like that. Seriously.
But you can't get a mortgage for a place like that these days.
No, not these days.
No.
They charge you an arm and a leg.
So you guys aren't even squatting? You actually paying a mortgage on this? You are horrible villains.
They're terrible. One of the worst villains ever.
Oh.
I'm waiting for no more wire hangers at some point. Just waiting for it. Put a bay window on that wall.
And
Really?
Yes. Well, speaking of strong female leads, what about the scene where Helen Slater's stuffing a bra?
Oh, right.
Wow.
She's putting her hands in there and trying it on. She's like, "What are you doing?"
Wait.
Oh, nothing.
She doesn't need that. I saw her in the suit. She did that. Lifts and separates. Now, speaking of the love interest,
Yes.
the crane sequence.
Oh, where it's chasing him around the town?
Yes, that the large. They built an entire town for this scene.
Did they really?
That whole town was built out of it's all cardboard or whatever. It's a fake.
God.
They built a fake town for. That's why there's nothing around the town. It's the middle of nowhere. They built a town for it. Here's a trivia question for Mr. I didn't do my research. How long did it take?
Are you referring to me?
Yes. How long did it take them? And I'm not gloating. I did cursory research myself. I was mostly trying to find out about Peter O'Toole. I was trying to see if he said anything nasty about the film afterwards, but I couldn't find anything. That would have been great. How long did it take them to film the crane sequence?
That sequence alone.
That sequence alone.
I think I remember reading that it didn't it take 10 days?
22.
Okay. 22 days for that.
And wasn't it worth every day?
Oh Lord.
And half the problem was, first of all, when you watch the scene, it's one of those things where, the car smashes here, and they're trying to orchestrate it like I think he was trying to compete with Superman 3 with that whole opening sequence.
Oh right.
So they want people walking around and all this stuff happening simultaneously, and cars rolling over, and the giant tire falling off the building, and the cranes going through town, and that choreography alone complicated everything. And on top of that, they complicated wire work to have her fly down and take that the front shovel nose off of the crane and carry it away. It was like all attached together. It was like one big piece they had to do.
Really?
So it really complicated wire work because they were really, pushing the whole Supergirl flying thing because that's new.
Sure. Yeah.
So, I mean, when you watch that scene now, can you really appreciate the 22 days?
No.
All I can think of during that entire scene is, why is Jimmy Olsen dating this teenage girl at Popeyes?
And he always brings that damn camera.
And he's taking pictures of his girl saving the day.
Right.
I can see.
Who she just jumps in there and she's just and if you don't know who she is, she had that bit part in Grease.
Yeah,
Grease 2.
Yeah, I know her. Yeah, of course.
Right, but she was this same character.
Mm-hmm.
She could have been whatever her name was. What was her name? Lucy Lane.
Yeah,
could have been Lucy Lane in Grease 2.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
And actually, she has that line where she's introducing Helen Slater to everybody. It's like, oh, and Jimmy, he's a what did she say? Like something like he's a photographer or something.
yes,
and
he's a photographer at
he's
the Daily
a
Planet.
photographer at the Daily Planet. And it's like, no, that should not have been said in a dreamy voice. It's like you're introducing her to the geeky guy in the bow tie with the camera. You should not be fawning over this guy. No. As much as I like Jimmy Olsen, he does not deserve this.
Well, she does point out that she thinks he's stuck on her. She never mentions that she's really interested.
The way
but
she says his name.
She's settling, is what she's basically saying, I think.
But the way she says his name, oh, and Jimmy's there. It's like no. She's got it. She's got the hots for him. That's horrible.
Yes.
And that scene, gas was $1.11. I made a note of that.
It was $1.11 in 1984.
Well, in that scene, it was. I don't know if that was a real or actual price.
Wow.
Best part of that whole scene, though, when that crane veers off, and smashes the first car it hits.
Yes.
If you watch closely, one of the tires on the car is flat.
Already.
It was a junker. They couldn't even bother to fix the tire on it before they smashed it.
They make this foam stuff that you can spray in the tire to blow it up so that you could drive X amount of miles until you get to a gas station or a mechanic shop. And they couldn't even buy a $2 can of that.
Again, who's going to notice it's the Marvel comic book?
Yeah. It's unbelievable. Ridiculous.
And they must have blown the whole budget for the crane scene, because then like, whoa, we have a monster attacker. Make it invisible.
Make it blurry.
Make it blurry and invisible so we can't see it.
Right. The one at the school is invisible. The one at the end is blurry.
Yeah. And when the brief instance you see the one at the school, it was just the one at the end.
Oh yeah. How about when it's stretching her?
Oh yeah.
Where it's like pulling at her. It's like, what?
And again, the skirt's not moving.
No, it ain't moving. And not only is it not moving, the special effects were okay. Let's take the horizontal and just make it real wide. Wait, what?
Oh, Peoria. That was the name of the town, the city.
Peoria.
Okay. Was nearby.
Peoria, Illinois.
It was near Peoria. That's right.
Now,
yes.
Is there anywhere else you want to go other than the ending?
I got a couple more things.
Okay.
Sorry. Why are you dry?
I'm dry.
You dry?
Dude.
Oh, all right, I'm gonna breeze through this thing. I'm sorry. There's so much in this film.
Well, listen. If my notes, I actually don't have them in front of me.
Uh-huh.
I don't know where they went. I have, like I said, I have a child. For all I know, they're under the couch right now. So
you jump in.
I'm just going on memory. So if you bring up something, it'll remind me.
Jump in. I'm gonna run down a couple more points. Here's a question I have. All right, so she doesn't know Earth and she doesn't know how to handshake, but apparently, in a moment's notice, she can write a recommendation letter to the school.
Oh right, that Clark. Oh, I think my cousin. It should be under K.
Right. So and then here's my question. She has a recommendation letter, right? She's attending school, right?
Yes.
Who's paying the tuition?
I was thinking that myself. Who's paying for this?
I have my taking out the trash doesn't count, so we're not going to do it this episode. But I think after the film, there should have been 5 tag-ons after the credits that would sum up all the movie's loose ends, and one of them should have been Clark Kent at home opening up a bill for the tuition for the school. Where did this come from? Lana?
What the hell?
Kara.
Kara.
And then they should have had that. They should have shown Peter O'Toole and Peter Cook hanging out together in the Phantom Zone. So, squirt? Well, I'd love a squirt. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Having a fine old time. Two British chaps enjoying themselves. And then they should have had a news flash of a local gardeners being in question and the disappearance of a young high school girl, Lana Lane, or
Lucy Lane.
No, the other one, Supergirl.
Oh. Her name is Linda Lee.
Linda Lee, thank you. Because at the end he says, "I'll explain about Linda Lee." So they should have had a news thing where it's that the local gardener is being questioned about the disappearance of Linda Lee, a young girl at the school that disappeared after seeing him. So he gets tried and tried, and like convicted for the murder of Linda Lee. No one can find her.
Oh my lord.
Then they should have had a shot of like Jimmy Olsen and Lucy Lane in a hotel room with Lucy Lane telling him she's pregnant.
Oh my.
It would have.
It's yours.
Yeah, it's yours.
Prove it.
He bludgeons her with the camera. Sorry.
It's okay.
Tie up all those loose ends of the film. Oh. Yeah, the tuition thing bugged me, and then the whole scene where like he's dodging bumper cars.
Oh God, yeah.
Well, that whole scene was like, okay, I'm gonna put him in bumper cars and have them run at him. Says, yeah, you might bruise him. Oh no. And
yeah, he might not. Might end up with a sprained ankle.
And then she makes that Faye Dunaway fence around Supergirl.
That was just ridiculous.
I'm thinking, okay, she can fly, right? And then it's like, Supergirl, you can fly, right? It's just taking too long for either of you to figure this out. I'm losing faith in you two. And I have a note here.
Yes.
Not the Burundi Wand.
It is pure evil.
Now, do I have to be the one to point out that this is a film about two women, and every time...
Who are witches.
Well, no. The ones that I'm talking about...
One's a witch, one's a sidekick.
No, talking about Supergirl and the villain. The two main characters.
Yes.
So Faye Dunaway and Helen Slater. Two women, both powerful women. In both instances, their power becomes destructive when they wield phallic symbols.
You really put that two and two together?
Dude, it's
like
staring you right in the face. Helen Slater's like being all night, she's okay, everything's fine, but then Peter O'Toole tempts her with
gives her the wand.
He tempts her with his phallic symbol. She has to play with it. Next thing you know, everything's gone wrong. And then later, you've got Faye Dunaway was, I'm evil, but not evil enough, and I need more powers. Says, if you want power, you should have one of these. So I'll just take yours then. Emasculating Peter Cook, which she does through the entire film, and then she does it when she takes away his Burundi wand. Dude, it's right. It's staring you right in the face.
You're right. You're right.
It's the pure mask. I have a whole article right here. I got to write this.
It's a leisure suit.
It's the destructive power of the male ego and the emasculation of men through female evil. It's right there.
It's all right there.
Not the Burundi wand.
It is pure evil.
Pardon me again. And now here's a question. And how does Selena know about the Phantom Zone?
You know what? Fuck, you're right. When she says it, I'm like, what the fuck? How does she fucking know about the Phantom Zone?
Phantom Zone. So is this in a book somewhere?
Apparently, it's a very popular zone to be in.
The idea of magic against Supergirl is actually
Squirt.
the only thing that works for me in the film, because in the comic book, Superman was vulnerable to magic because it was not observed.
Right.
So that makes sense. But then they say, now they're implying that the Phantom Zone is actually a part of, arcane magic wisdom.
Oh, right. You're right.
How does she summon a glass thingy to take him to...
Who knows?
Yeah.
There's so many holes in this.
Yeah, and I can understand where Don was confused about the whole thing. Is like, are they subterranean? Because they say they're in inner space, but then every time she comes and goes, it's through the lake.
It's through water.
Yeah, so it's an underwater city, but it's an inner space, so it's not really underwater.
And
with stadium lighting.
To bring up another point, when she defeats Faye Dunaway, how does she defeat her?
She sends her to the Phantom Zone.
No, but actually how?
She exposes her... Well, because Peter Cook says...
No. I'm talking about the physical act that she does.
Peter Cook says, expose her to the demon, it's the only way, or make her confront it, it's the only way. And
No. Dude, you're thinking too much. You're thinking too much. How did Superman save the day in the first and second film when Richard Donner was in charge? He spun around the Earth.
No, the first film he spun around the Earth. The second film,
Right. Well, no, they fired Richard Donner for ending the second film that way, but that's how the second one
that
ends
takes
in the
balls.
director's cut.
That takes balls.
It really does. But what does she do to Selena? She spins around her
Oh,
in a tornado-like motion.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, that's the first thing I caught. It's like, really? That's how she's going to save the day, by spinning around something?
You know what the ultimate end of the film would have been if Superman said, "Nah, enough of this," and spun around the Earth until the movie rewound. Enough of this stuff.
Enough.
Pardon me.
Surprised Lex Luthor didn't make an appearance.
I apologize for the coughing. That's not.
It's quite
It's not
all right.
kosher.
Don't
No,
worry
it's not
about it.
kosher.
It's fine.
Too much wine.
So-
Two quick things to say then.
Okay.
$35 million budget. I think at least $10 million for the wind machines.
Yeah.
Every scene was windy hair,
Windy hair and everything.
and I have to take it back. The line, "It's just the way we are," is not the best line in the film.
What's the best line then?
The best line of the film goes right in with my whole theory about the emasculation of men and the whole phallic symbol thing. This goes right into play with that. Best line at the end of the film: "What the box wants, the box gets."
And you know what's funny too about that?
It's like that pretty much sums up everything.
It sure does. They say at one point that it's getting bigger, but the actual Omega Hedron isn't getting bigger, just the box that it's in.
Mm-hmm.
How is that possible? Why would that even happen?
Because and also did you catch the whole thing? It was made of lead. That's why her bracelet couldn't. And where did she get the bracelet? The binary shoot gave her a bracelet that would.
Didn't she have it on Argos?
Well, she didn't plan ahead on this. She didn't say, "Oh, and I should also have this bracelet that detects the power source of my planet." She's like, "No, let me just hop in the binary chute while Peter O'Toole's acting." She didn't plan ahead.
Bam, zoom, zam.
Yeah. Dude, every time you say that, I giggle. She just jumped in the thing and ran out of there like with the clothes on her back. So
Right.
So I don't know where she got what's the name of it again? The Hedron.
Omega
Thank
Hedron.
you. The Omega. I don't know where she got Omega Hedron locating device in the binary chute, unless Peter Toole was planned ahead. Maybe he'd planned ahead.
No, I don't think so.
No, not at all. But yeah, the whole idea that it's in lead so she can't see it. It's like, no, Superman can't see through lead because of X-rays. That doesn't make any. That's not the same thing. It's not.
It really isn't.
And I guess the lead growing was just the whole idea that the Omega Hedron creates things, so it was like expanding its own world. But that would mean Argos keeps growing then, wouldn't it? Argos wasn't made out of lead. Argos was made out of saran wrap and railings
and railings.
and hippies.
And hippies.
This was a great movie.
I did like it.
Any final thoughts, sir?
No. Are you okay, sir?
You hear that? I'm sorry.
I did hear it. I heard it loud and
Cover
clear.
the mic, I thought.
Cover the mic.
If you can edit that, do, but don't worry about it if you can't.
I'm not editing anything.
Okay. Oh, I wish Don had caught the last part there. I feel bad that I kind of dominated this one, but I guess you lost your notes, or
I did lose my notes.
dude, the Burundi Wand.
The Burundi.
There's like 4 phone rings in that film I got to make now, and I didn't even make a copy for myself.
Yeah.
I didn't even keep. I just sent it back right away. I should have kept that. I needed that. I need that phone ring, not the Burundi Wand.
Oh Lord, Lordy, Lord.
So, on the bad superhero film scale, how does this go for you?
From 1 being the worst, 10 being the best.
Yeah.
I gotta say it's a 2.
Okay. Really?
Yeah.
All right. Now,
I mean, as far as being fun because it's bad, I'd score it higher. But as a film, it's a 2.
okay. Now,
There's a lot wrong with this